Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome to Tea and Conversation with Kendell Lenice. I'm so excited about today's show. Today I have Arilia Winn. She is the owner of Winn Publications. Let me tell you how I met her. Well, I don't know if I should wait until she comes, but she was on my YouTube show, Kendell Lenice Live. I met her through IG, and she was on two of my other shows talking about things that are really, really, really important. A woman in business and mental health. And we're going to talk about that on Tea and Conversation. And she also is the publisher of my latest book, My Personal Journey of Peace, a 30-day guided journal. So she is the publisher of that. So we're going to be talking about that. It is month and is Mental Health Awareness Month. Did y'all know that? Did you know that? All right, so I'm waiting on our guests. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Those who are coming in and those who will be watching it live and the playback. So remember, all episodes will be housed on my YouTube channel, which is Kendell Lenice. Hey, there she is.
Hello.
Hey,
Good morning.
welcome. Good
Are
morning.
we matching? Are we matching?
Yes, this is the second time we did that. Remember, we had on head wraps the
I
one
know.
time,
I said
and
I
now
like her green. I said, oh my God.
green is my favorite
Me
color. Green.
too. Me too.
Green means a lot of different things. A lot of people don't know, but it's healing,
Mm-hmm.
it's earth, it's
Yeah.
money, it's a lot of different things. So I'm big on what the colors mean, and I just so happen to love green. Purple is my next favorite, but
Okay.
green is my favorite. All kinds of green.
Yeah. This specific color green is my favorite, and for sure, all of that. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yes. Well, she is a Cali girl. That's why she said good morning. So all my West Coast viewers, whether you're watching it now or the playback, and I know it's early for some, so some might not catch it live, but that's okay. That's the beautiful thing
Yeah.
about Instagram Live. They can go back, and also this show will be on my YouTube channel, Kendell Lenice. So I introduced you. I talked about you. You have to go back before
Uh-oh.
you came on, but I was
Okay.
talking about how I met you and
Mm-hmm.
that you are the publisher of My Personal Journey of Peace. But before
Yes.
we do that,
Okay.
on Tea and Conversation, I'd like to know what kind of tea are you drinking? And I need you to hold up your cup.
So
Yes. Look, I
it's
should have got that. You know what? Because I use this one. I have that same cup, the one you sent
yeah.
me.
Current mood is right. Yeah. What am I drinking? I just have just some plain old green tea with lemon and a little bit of honey, and that's all I need. Yeah.
But green tea is so funny because I drink green tea so much. I ran out and I was
Mm.
going to have that exact same thing for the show. And I said, wait a minute, I don't have any more green tea.
Yeah.
But this is lemon and ginger. So
Okay.
there are a lot, and I have some limes in here and honey,
Mm.
raw organic raw honey.
That sounds
So
good. Okay.
yeah, it is good. And I'm a tea drinker. You know, it started from my grandmother's and my mother. I drink tea
Mm.
when I wake up and I drink tea before I go to bed. So, and also I love conversations, especially when they begin with a K.
Okay. I see what you did there. I was like, okay, yeah, let me see what she has going on. I love it.
But
Mm-hmm.
welcome to Tea and Conversations. And I always say tea heals and soothes, and so does great, healthy conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what we're going to have today. And welcome everyone for tuning in. All right. So, for those that don't know, this is Arilia Winn. And let me just make sure I pin you so they know if they're coming through.
Okay.
How's the weather in Cali?
Oh, it's been gloomy. Believe it or not, it's been gloomy the last couple of days, but I don't mind. I said we needed a break. We needed a break. I will take it. I've been in like comfortable clothes. Today I finally got dressed. Yesterday I was just in my sweatpants, just enjoying the cool. So when I say cool, I mean like 72, 70, overcast, kind of. It's still really nice,
You
but
know what?
it feels
You
cool to me.
California people talking about, oh, it's cold. Oh, it's winter. I'm
I
like,
know.
come on.
I know it. I know it. Meanwhile, my mom, she lives in Texas, and she was saying it's raining. They've been having like rain and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, well, I was at the beach the other day. I don't know what to tell
See?
you. It's like, come visit, come visit. So,
See, you California people. I lived on the West Coast for 3.5 years, but I lived in Las Vegas. And I love California. The last time I was there was, I guess it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when I saw New Edition get their Hollywood Walk of Fame star.
oh wow, you went to the event?
Yes,
Okay,
I did.
wow, that's
Yes,
cool.
I did. I ride for New Edition, that I will go
My
across the
goodness,
cities into the
yeah.
other side. Yeah. But that was a great weekend. All right, so this is Arilia Winn, everybody. She is of Winn Publications, and she is a woman boss, and she made all of this happen by or under the age of 30. She's a single mom, and she also um, dealt with mental health. And I want to talk about that, especially because for those that don't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And just like you go to the doctor to take care of your physical, it is crucial that you take care of your inner man, your mental. If you don't take care of your inner man and your mental, it will take care of you, and it will display in many different areas. When you don't want, that uncle that stays in the door, that you don't want him to come out, that mental illness will come out if you don't handle it or address it. So Aurelia, welcome to Tea and Conversation.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, you nailed it. If you don't take care of that thing, I know, especially, and I know we always say this, especially in, with people of color in our community, we like to kind of sweep things under the rug. Yes, it's done in other communities, but for sure enough, from my experience, just as a Black woman, I can't tell you what other people are doing. I've seen it
Right.
happen in my community where we're sweeping those things under the rug. Or, it was so funny. I was talking to a girlfriend and she said, do you think we're just ignorant to it? Do you think that in some communities we're just ignorant to mental health and we just think that this is just the way someone is? Like, what if we just don't have that education to know that it's mental health and to know that I need help? Then I
Yeah.
said, well, us people who do know, we got work to do. Like, we still have to spread the message, because if that's a real thing, which it could be, we got work to do. And normally it happens like in rural communities, or, I'm just speculating, but I think, we just still have work to do. Yeah. To get that message out there that we need to talk about these things that are happening to us that are not normal.
Yes. Why do you think, and I totally agree 100%. And in the Black community, like you said, that's a community that I know, raised by a Black mother. Mental illness and mental health is important. And I want to eradicate the stigmas of seeking help and therapy and coaching and counseling. And I want to pull up that rug, right? I want to show images of boss women and men still handling their business, still raising their children, still living healthy and productive lives, at the same time dealing with mental health. And people always say, oh, I'm anxious. I'm just a little depressed. People don't realize that that's your mental health. When you're anxious, your mental health is compromised. When you are a little sad and you can't get out of that funk for a day, 2, 3, 5, 10 days, a month, that is depression. Even if a doctor doesn't label it as that, you have to know yourself. And if you're different from how you are, or if things change, we have to no longer in the Black community sweep things under the rug and stop calling people crazy. If they are experiencing challenges with their mental health, they're not crazy. They're not touched. And that's what Black people used to say back in the day. Oh, they're just a little off. And nobody was checking mental health because it wasn't talked about like it is now. Why are you so forthcoming with your challenges? And if you can share some of your challenges with our viewers so they can understand, to see that I can be a single mom raising an amazing daughter, that I can run a business, and I did all of this before I was 30 years old, and I can still function every day and still smile. Can you talk about your journey and talk about why you're so gracious and open to tell your story?
Yeah, well, I could start there. I want to share my story. And I think it was just, I give my mother credit. Something that she said to me a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me, was, sometimes, Arilia, we go through things not just to keep it to ourselves, but so that we can help somebody else. And so
Amen.
I've always had this love, I guess, or duty to civic engagement. I want to reach back, and I want to help somebody else, and I want to let them know that even if they feel abnormal, they're actually normal, and there's actually a community out there that will embrace them and help them and hold them accountable and be their tribe. And so I just thought, let me share my story, and so yeah, I deal a little bit with anxiety. And it's just from, the traumatic events that I've been through. And I'm not afraid to say, hey, yeah, I go see a therapist when I need to. Kind of like you said, when you're feeling sick or something, you'll go to the doctors. And so my therapist definitely do that. But even with anxiety, it's would be classified more so as high functioning anxiety. And so I'm still able to get things done, but I stay really organized. I have to. I have a planner. I have lists. I have forms and things that I've created, especially with business, to stay organized. I have reminders on my phone. Some people think, oh my God, that's so extra. But I need those measures in place, or else I can't function right. Or else I'm worried about, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Instead of worrying about it, I take the necessary actions that I think that I would need to stay organized and to make sure that I can get from point A to point B successfully without letting my emotions overcome me, because I have a clear outline, a clear guide, steps that I've created. When I felt good, I said, okay, let me sit down and write how I just got through that. And so, yeah, doing all those things has, like you said, helped me run my business and to continue to be successful with it. After 3 years, I'm still going strong. And so I'm so excited.
I think that that's so important. You said so many poignant things, and I don't want to overlook them, that you can still run your business successfully, that your mom supported you. And I think that's so important, to get the support, and you acknowledging what's going on with you and how you were off a little bit or something was different. And I think that that takes a lot of, life coach in me, but that takes self-acceptance. You are practicing self-care. You know when things are off, and that you don't care what people think. You're going to write it down. You're going to be organized, because if you suffer from anxiety, people don't understand how important it is to be organized. Because if something is out of place, my youngest daughter, she struggles with anxiety, and she's very organized, she's very together, but she'll find herself getting anxious, and she hasn't been diagnosed or anything like that, but she gets anxious about things, not all things, because she's cool as a cucumber, but when she's anxious, she's anxious. And just acknowledging that, and just being able to, okay, let me see how I can combat it from this point. And people don't understand, as a meditation practitioner, how important it is to breathe, how important it is to meditate, and how important it is to just be still so you can regroup. What are some of the other things outside of organizing and keeping track of everything that you have going on? What are some of the natural things that you do that help soothe you?
I rest. Honestly, that's been one of my best One of my best friends. And that's why I stay organized, because I
That's
need my
important.
time to rest. So if I want to rest, I know where I've stopped. And when I get ready to get back to it, I know where to begin again. But
Yeah.
oh my gosh, rest. And I just recently, since the world's opening back up, I'm like, I want to travel. I want to rest outside of my home. Like I want to rest in somebody's Airbnb or somebody's hotel.
Come
Like I
on.
want to get out,
Yeah.
and enjoy my rest that way. And so that's one of the things. And I write a lot whenever I
Mhm.
just need to take a break. Sometimes my rest consists of writing, and a lot of it, though I publish books, I feel like a lot of my writings will never get shared, maybe until I pass and someone wants to share them. But
Until I
that's just
start my
my
publishing
time.
company and I can publish yours. That way you don't have to work on yours.
Okay. Hey, you know what?
We can
Yeah.
barter.
Yes, and then we'll have to show this as a throwback. Like, remember when you said this?
Right, right.
Yeah.
No, you
Uh-huh.
already know I'm a woman of my word. If I say I got you, I got you.
For sure, for sure. Oh yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, writing, resting, those are also my go-to.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
people underestimate what resting will do for you. And I have to
Mm-hmm.
admit that I didn't catch that early. You just turned 30. Well, you'd be 31. Like, that's wow,
Yeah.
31 this year. And
Mm-hmm.
you got it. I'm going to tell you something. At 30, I didn't know the importance of resting
Mm-hmm.
because I am a worker bee. And then if I'm in school, and then I was a single mom and interning, working on this, working on that, carrying a full-time job, still
Mm-hmm.
doing some of the stuff that I'm doing now and doing
Wow.
everything. And I've always been a night owl,
Mm-hmm.
always. And this is way before your times, but the older people will understand what I'm talking about. When I was in high school, 11th or 12th grade, that's when it began. And I'll tell you why. When Arsenio Hall came on, his first show,
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows about it back in the day because it was groundbreaking. And he came back later to revitalize it. But I remember I would not go to bed until that went off. And that
Oh
went off,
wow.
I think, at like 12:30. I came on like 11:30 and it went off at 12:30. And
Mm-hmm.
then, that was when I was about 17-ish. But ever since then, like, I have just been staying up late and didn't really know the importance of rest. And I talk
Mm-hmm.
about that, in my books as a coach to help other people know what I know now. And I always say, if I
Mm-hmm.
knew what I knew now 30 years ago, oh, I would be a bad somebody, because where does this wisdom come at 30? Because I had wisdom at 30, but still
Mm-hmm.
did not understand the importance of sitting down somewhere and not doing anything.
I want to say messing up fast, hard headed. Oh my God. And that's why I pray to God, don't let my child be anything like me, because I gave my mama hell, just hard headed. And so just not listening, wanting to do my own thing. But also, I went to school to become a therapist. So a lot of the things that I was learning, I was like, oh, okay, like this makes sense. And I
Yeah.
just, like you said, very self aware, because I was a perfectionist. Like I've been on the other side of the fence a little bit, so I know that even though that's an option, I could be this way. I would rather just rest. Like
Yeah.
that burnout did not feel good to me. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy, working really hard for 2 days only to want to sleep for 3 days because I didn't get no sleep. I didn't eat. I didn't exercise. I didn't write. I didn't do
Mm-hmm.
these self-care things that I do now. And so it was like, actually, I do have control over how I feel, and all I need to do is change what I'm doing, and I will begin to feel better. And I can be a better help when I've rested, because I've tried. Sometimes I said, okay, I'm gonna get up and answer emails at 4 o'clock in the morning because I work with people on the East Coast who are up and they're messaging me and I want to check my email.
Like me.
And then I'm sending wrong information. And I said, oh, I have to apologize. Like, I'm sorry, I have not woken up. I have not had my coffee, my tea. Let me get right back to you. And just being honest with them. And they're like, okay, yeah, Arilia, because it's 5 o'clock where you're at. What are you doing answering this email right now?
Yeah.
And I just said, I'm so sorry. And so I have to rest. I have to get, bring myself to it, get my day going kind of thing. And so, yeah, just full of hard knocks.
Girl, even in preschool, I wasn't asleep. They had the cot laid. They had the cot laid out, and Kendell Lenice, little Kendell Lenice, still was not going down.
Oh,
know why? Because I was nosy and I didn't want to miss nothing.
Yeah,
so I wanted to see everything.
See what everybody's doing, what everybody looks like in their sleep. Yeah.
Right. Funny story. I was in preschool, and I still remember this. The cots were all laying down, and everybody was asleep. But the teacher took a liking to me, and she used to sit in the rocking chair. Well, she used to rock me in the rocking chair. My mom was you can't do that. She needs to go to sleep like everyone else. So I've always been up, but I'll be approaching 50 in less than 30 days.
That.
Yes. Woo! And yes, woo! And I've learned to sleep and to rest in recent years. And it, really is absolutely right. So if you're watching and you're a young person or younger than I am, or even younger than Miss Winn here, you need to realize that practicing self-care can be as simple as resting your mind, your body, and your spirit. If you're just tuning in, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are talking about just that. Arilia is a boss woman, business owner, and she's talking about how she is managing her anxiety and her mental health through everything. So when we talk about mental health and mental wellness, how did it affect you during the pandemic? Was it something that was deepened, or did you realize, okay, now I really have something going on, or did you find peace? And if so, how did you find it?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to have to reflect. Let's think. It was, and I want to say that because I was so used to chaos and uncertainty, it just maybe went over my head a little bit, because and I thank God for my business, because it's almost been like a positive distraction. Like, I was busy. I didn't even really, I don't want to say I wasn't affected, because I lost my grandmother last year. So I was definitely affected. I lost my job last year. So I was definitely, my child had to stay at home for a little bit. So we were affected. But because I kept my hands busy, it wasn't that deep. It was just like, okay, this is something that we're going through, but I'll get through it. So definitely still had that peace, because I kept my hands moving, and because I also rested when I needed to. It wasn't, and I think also something that happened was I just kind of dealt with things as they came, which is weird, because it's almost like the opposite of anxiety. I don't think I was that anxious until, I want to say, it's been something that I've been working through more recently. But last year, no. Actually, last year was a really good year in spite of all those things that I faced. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were able to come out on top. Mental health, you talked about anxiety. Is there something else that you struggle with in the vein of mental health?
So a couple years ago, my therapist diagnosed me with bipolar 2 disorder. And so part of that, is the anxiety, it's the mood swings, and so, but since then, so that was 2 years ago. Since then, I've gone through a lot of growth, a lot of healing. Like I said, I think my business has been a good outlet, only because it's something that I love. right? I decided to create a business with something that I enjoy. And so it's also been like a self-care. So when I'm looking at someone's book and I'm reading, to me, that's not really work. That's me doing something that I really, really enjoy. And so it's like, it just works for me. Like, I think I found my thing. And I said, this is all I want to do for the rest of my life because it
Wow.
does help with my mental health. And so I've definitely seen that growth. And my business started 3 years ago. So when I got that diagnosis, I was already a year into my business. And just even the therapist was shocked. Like, well, how is it that you're still able to run a business? And I just told her, like, I love it. Like, I love it. Like, there's been times where things really could have been bad, but it was like my business was a distraction, but it was more so like an outlet. Like, it was that release that I needed. And so, yeah, did I answer your question?
Yes, but you said a lot of things that I just want to jump back, because you might not even realize what you just said. Your therapist asked, how can you do all of this when you were just diagnosed with bipolar and you suffer from anxiety? How are you able to excel? You said something. Now, this is coming from a therapist. You said something that's so powerful. You did more of what you love.
Yeah.
It wasn't a drug. It wasn't, illegal or legal. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a man. It wasn't your daughter. It wasn't anything outside other than you feeling what's in the inside and doing more of what makes your soul feel good. And it doesn't feel like work. So that's for your mental health, and that's for your inner peace and joy. Think about that. You didn't have to do anything else. And that's what I want people to understand. You have to find your thing. And as a life coach, people come to me and like, I don't know what I'm good at. I can't find that thing. My cousin, my aunt, my friend, they all have their passions and they know, and I don't. But it's as simple as Arilia said, what made her feel good? It didn't even feel like work. So think about the things that you're good at naturally, the things that you love to do that aren't work, and see how you can change that into a career. Because I honestly believe most people are unhappy and they don't know how to get happy because there's so many different things that they're unsure of, or they're judging, or they're questioning. Even if they took a path of education because their parents said so, or a job because it was easy to get, and they're waking up every day doing the same routine, and that's not the happiness and joy. How did you know that this was it? You said this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, but how did you get into publishing? How did you know, okay, this is it? It makes me feel good, but this is it.
Yeah. So initially I I just wanted to be an author. I just wanted to write books. I didn't really want to be a publisher. But the route that I was trying to take to go about it, it just didn't work out. So I worked for a publisher as an editor. I tried to be like proactive, and help her and give her suggestions about her business, how we could make it better. And she kind of put me in my place and said,
Oh, they don't like that.
You're just the editor. Like, excuse me, like, and I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't really understand that I was out of place. I think I was like 21, not that, being young, that you don't have any clue, but I just wanted to help. Like, I just wanted to help. No, she didn't like it. So I was like, okay, fine. So that relationship didn't last very long because after that, the communication got sour. And so it was just like, okay, whatever. But then I had a cousin reach out to me and say, hey, I want to publish this book. Can you help me? And she said, I want it to look legit. So can you, how can we make this work? And so I said, okay, yeah, I guess I could start a publishing company and publish your book. I'll just get a logo. I didn't think it was that deep. So I didn't really do a whole lot. I just said, I'll just go register my business name, do just the basic foundational stuff just in case, right? I just said, let's just try it, see what happens. So before that, because of the way I am, I just said, I'm going to put my own book out there because I've always wanted to be an author. And at the time, my cousin was just barely writing her book. So I said, well, let's see what happens. So I wrote and published my own book in 30 days, put it out there, and then immediately, like a month later, took it down because I didn't do the editing on my own book. So it was a mess. It was a mess. And the reviews were like, typos. This would have been a good book, but typos. And I was like, daggone it. So I took it down, and I will never speak of it again because it's buried. It's still on Amazon, but I will never, you have to look it up if you really want to know, but I will never speak of it again. But now, since then, when I put out my first book, I said, oh, I like this. Oh, I really like this. Oh, this is a process and I can do it. Okay. I was like, okay, what? And then I put my cousin's book out there, and then I kept getting more people interested in publishing a book. So, okay, yeah. And the more that I learn about it and the more that I do it, I feel like, yeah, I think I'm going to be here for as long as I'm alive, probably. Yeah.
I love that. And just looking at the smile on your face and the joy that's coming from within doing something that you love. This is really a win if you're just tuning in. She is the publisher of my latest book, my latest project, My Personal Journey of Peace, a 30-day guided journal. I think it's pretty an awesome book, and it's not for me, but it's for you. And that's the gift. That's really what I wanted to help people as we're talking about it now, to find their peace and to go on their own personal journey of peace. So how was it working with Kendell Lenice as she published her book?
Oh, you want the truth? Oh! First of all, I have it right here. Okay, don't play with me. First of all, let's get into it. It's a beautiful book. Okay, with her on the cover. I didn't even mind. I said, go ahead with your bad self. Okay. So, are you a Gemini also?
Yes!
Are you? Okay, so I am also. May 29th. I think, what is yours? June 14th?
June 17th.
17th. Okay, I was close.
We're about our business now.
So I knew where it was coming from. Sometimes she would be like, we'd have a little disagreement. I'd be like, okay, let me. It was just more so like holding me accountable. So I just thought, okay, let me get to work. But no, the finished project is, you guys can't even see it because of the lighting, but the finished project, beautiful. We did really well. And so I just was like, hey, I am pleased with the result. The process, let me not even play with you guys. And it doesn't matter if you're doing self-publishing or if you're working with a publisher. It's difficult. Everything's not going to go the way you want it to go. We had an oopsies with the release date. And it was just like, oh my God, what do we do? But that's just, looking back at it, it's like, okay, this was part of the process that we went through. Being someone who does deal with anxiety, I'm like, okay, we can make this better moving forward. And okay, this is something to be aware of. And it's written down, and it's become a part of my process. Like, okay, release dates can go haywire. What do you need to do? What's the plan? Should it go left? And so it was just like, and just, we had to really encourage one another also throughout it, and just, hey girl, it's going to be okay. Like, we freaking out a little bit, but having that, and I think we knew each other a little bit loosely before we started working. So having that relationship and that rapport ahead of time, I think that was really helpful. Otherwise, we really could have just rubbed each other the wrong way. And so I was grateful that we were able to say, okay, we had the same goal in mind to produce a beautiful book, and it's out. And so I'm so excited. It was a wonderful experience.
Yay! And I'm so glad that you said that. And thank you so much. And like I told you, I said, moving forward, if I'm not publishing it, because, you already know I got a whole bunch of books to be published. And I said, if I wasn't publishing it myself, I wanted you to publish it. And because you are passionate about it, I trust you. Remember, I kept saying, I know a lot of publishers and their friends and associates, but I kept being drawn to you as a single mom, and not just that, but because of, and I wasn't even remembering you're a Gemini, but I'm attracted to that. And I'm attracted to your work ethic, because I have that same work ethic, and I'm attached and attracted to your attention for detail. because as you know, I have attention to detail with my work. Everything that I wanted, you were providing. And even with the hiccup, you know, I was all cool until the release date, and I was still cool until people were like, I thought you said it was coming out. So then I'm like, well, let me check with the publisher. You know what I mean? But but that was just a quick moment, because we both the same way went into mode. Okay, but what can we do?
Yeah.
And I was like, can you do this? And you was like, I think so. Yeah, let me see. And then you were like, okay, I can do this. And then you were like, well, maybe this. And I was like, that sounds good. Okay, well, maybe this, you know, and we worked it out. And honestly, truthfully, it came out when it was supposed to come out, because the original date was when DMX died. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
I was like, I don't want to post and tell people to buy my book when, you know, people like me and people that love DMX as a culture were mourning. Like, I don't want to be like, yeah, I know he died, but buy my book. You get what I'm saying? So it actually worked out better that, you know, they were still able to, the day after that, to get it off of your site until Amazon. And that's what people have to understand. Some things are beyond your control and my control. And just to allow things to just be. You know what I mean? And not be all up in arms just to be. Because then, you know, that was like, 5 minutes. And after that, we were cool. We were like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. We got it. It's good. All right, girl. Talk to you later. Bye. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Right. But that's really how you have to be also to protect. Hold the book up. Your personal peace. That goes in line with mental health. So that's my book, My Personal Journey of Peace, a 30-day guided journal workbook. It's available on Amazon.com, published through her amazing publishing company, Winn Publications. And that falls in line sincerely with that mental space. And that is the reason why it was so, because I had already written the book. I already, you know, designed the cover. I did certain things because I actually was going to put it out myself. And that's when I said, seriously, Winn Publications, that's who I trust. And I just felt it. I'm led by the spirit most times. And I was like, I want her to do it. And you did a phenomenal job. You sometimes, if you're the customer, me, and then you're the professional publisher, you, sometimes it could be an issue because somebody might not understand your lane. You might not understand the other person's lane, but it really is about coming together to make a good product, because you shine and I shine. Like, that's my book, but I'm not the only one shining. A Black woman, a 30-year-old Black woman published my book. So you're going to get your flowers too, because when I make money, you'll make money. And I love that. That's who I am. And you know, when I think about you, and then I look through your social media, and I look at all of the amazing authors you have and all of the works you're publishing, how does that make you feel? And do you sit back and think like, wow, I did that?
Not until recently. I hadn't started counting my successes until recently. But recently, I've been like, girl, you kind of bad. Like, you just been, I literally have just been doing it. And so when people praise me, it's like, oh, thank you. Like, oh I did that. But like, again, like I said earlier, it's just because I love it. And so when someone else, like, oh, you see me, I'm not the kind of person that, I don't need the recognition. I don't need the acknowledgement. But when it does happen, it does feel good. It does feel good to be seen, especially when that's not my motive at all. Matter of fact, if I could do this, you know, and not, you know what I mean, and just still kind of not be seen, I would probably do that. But I think the more that I am being kind of drawn forward, I feel like that's what God is doing in my life right now, is just kind of pushing me from behind the scenes and kind of bringing me forward. And I say that as humbly as possible, because that is not my thing at all. I'm actually, though I can be outgoing, I'm actually really shy. I would prefer to just kind of stay behind the computer and not be known.
that's that dual personality as a Gemini.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
am. I'm very outgoing, but I still have a shy side where I just want to be an introvert.
Right, right, right. And I enjoy that. That's my piece, just kind of just minding my business, really. But
And drinking your water, drinking your
okay,
tea.
and drinking my tea. Period. Yeah. But no, I've had to recently start counting my successes because pretty soon I'm going to be looking for funding. I'm going to be looking for investors. And so I want them to see my track record that my first year, I only published 6 books. My second year, I published 12 books. My third year, I published 14 books by 11 different
Woo!
authors. Like, come
Growth.
on.
11 different authors.
Yes.
Let's not pass over that. So each time you grew.
Continues to grow. Yeah. Right.
I love
So
that.
I'm grateful, but I had to start tracking those things because I'm like, okay, is this business profitable? Yes. Is it sustainable? Yes. Is it going to grow? Clearly it's going to grow. This is just the numbers just from me continuing to invest in something that I love. And so it just, it's been working out really well for me. So I am grateful when people like you do acknowledge, and I just like I said, I'm just grateful. So definitely thank you so much. Yeah.
You are welcome. I was like, remember when I did the the review, I was like, I'm gonna make sure I do this good review, and I'm gonna give you
Yes.
because I want people to see how dope you are. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want people to see how professional you are, but also personable. And even doing the book, I'm like, maybe we can suggest this. You never said, well, I can't do that, I'm the publisher. You were like, okay, let's see if we can do that. Sure, I never did that, but I'll try, or I've done
Yeah.
this before. I love the fact that you were open and not so rigid, saying, this is how I'm doing it. I've been doing it for 3 years like this. And
Yeah.
then, I love the fact that you were even offering suggestions. And as you know, I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. That would work. And that's what a team does. And when you're publishing someone's book, you are a team. Can you
Right.
talk about that a moment for your experiences with other authors, even just how you work together as a team, and the common goal is to what?
To win, and winning looks differently for each person. Yeah, that's our common goal. But I think, and I don't want to talk crap on places that I've worked for, but I never liked calling my coworkers family. Like, first of all, y'all are not my family. I don't even like really saying that. I might call you my sis or my bruh, but like, wait a minute, like, we're really not family. So team to me, because they would always say, oh, we're kind of dysfunctional. No, when you're doing work, we don't play that. Like, to me, that just seemed a little off.
Yeah.
So I said, creating a work environment, I said, okay, I'm in control of this. How do I want things to work? I don't want to work as a family because I just don't. I said, to me, a team works better because, like you said, you all have one goal in mind. And if we can get on a team together and our goal is to put out something that looks good, to put out something that has your vision and my expertise together to bring forth a beautiful book at the end of the day, then that's what I want to do. I don't want to be your family member. I don't want you calling me whenever you feel like. We're a team. Hold up. Because I need that organization. So again, having a team, what's your role? Okay, this is your role. This is my role. These are your strengths. These are my strengths. This is how we're going to make it work. To me, a team, that word just exemplifies that much more than family. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely a family girl. Everything, my family's name is a part of my business. I love my family, but the way that I function and the way that I move to succeed and to accomplish goals is more so as a team. Let's do it as a team. Yeah.
I love that. And you have the perfect name, but look at that setup from God, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Winn Publishing. Like, how could you not? Did you mull over a few names and then you were like, duh, I can do
Not
Winn?
at all.
Did you know? Okay, let's talk
I
about
knew. Yeah, I knew. And even one of my uncles, he goes, you can use it. He goes, I already trademarked the name. I said, okay.
Hey,
Yeah. So it's good.
that's awesome. So you got a family who is handling their business.
Yeah.
So that's that's a legacy. That's a gift to say, you know what? We own that. So as my niece, do whatever you need to do. I think that that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And he thought to do that because the name is powerful. You're passing on your legacy for your daughter, your family. You're making your mom proud and all of your other family by doing this amazing work. So you have your name Winn as the legacy that you can pass on, and so on and so on and so on. But then you have the double meaning with Winn. Like if you come with me over to Winn Publications, then we win together. Like that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Super intentional about it, definitely. Because I just think that's just how you should be, right? You should be somewhat intentional about the way you live your life.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So we touched on, for those tuning in, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we touched on mental health. If you missed the beginning of this show, please go back and watch it. And this also will be available on my YouTube channel, Kendell Lenice. But you talked about therapy. And I'm an advocate for therapy. I have my certification as a life coach. I've been doing it 20 years, but I also have a degree in human services, which is a professional helper. And we have to take therapy classes and psychology classes and all of that. So I'm very fascinated with it. And I know that it works and helps heal.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the first time you went to therapy. Did you have any expectations? And talk about how it has helped you. Because I want the face of therapy to look like this.
Yeah.
So people can understand.
The first time I went, I think what had happened, I had just got out of an abusive relationship. And I want to say I went. No. I went, let me back up. The first time I went to therapy, I was in college, and I was in the middle of my first abusive relationship, right? And I was scared. I didn't trust the lady at first, and so I didn't really stick with it. But that was my first encounter was with and I'm not even going to say her race just because people are so crazy right now about the whole race thing. But I just was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable. And I didn't even know maybe that's why, but I just was uncomfortable with her questioning. And so it just turned me off. I didn't go again. So, but then I was in another abusive relationship, and I thought, what the hell is going on? Excuse me. What the heck is going on?
No, you're fine.
So I was like, okay, so I went to a different one. And she was a Christian therapist, and her approach was much different. Still not of Christianity. So I just thought, okay, cool. And I loved it. And it was just my place to talk. And she was a professional, and she gave me different things she was very clear. I felt like I could trust her. She said, okay, well, have you ever thought about it like this? And I said, oh, no, I didn't think about it like that. And she said, what's your ideal life? And I said, okay, this is what I would like to happen. Okay, well, what's stopping you? Why can't you do it now?
Ooh,
oh, okay.
That's nice.
And she, and so at that time I thought, oh, okay. But I was also going to school to become a therapist because I was working at a shelter for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And so for some people, they might be thinking, well, if you worked at the shelter, how come you missed the signs? So it can happen to anybody is what I'm trying to get to. So it really can happen to anybody. And I dealt with some of that guilt as, why did I not notice the red flags if I'm teaching others about the red flags? So, but anyways, from that, But
a doctor needs a doctor.
Exactly.
When you pass away, even if you're a funeral director, you can't bury yourself.
You're gonna need one. You're gonna need one. Yeah. And so I had to come to that understanding, but that guilt, I still dealt with it. But then someone said, let's reframe what you're thinking. And so let's start with, I understood the tools that she was using because I had went to school, so it made sense for me. And so I thought, okay, but even then she would explain it. So I just felt like, okay, I really got lucky to have been put in front of some really, and they were all women therapists who knew what to do to educate, but also to allow me to be like the professional one, and then to kind of come alongside me and make suggestions like, oh, well, you said this. Do you mean that you think this? Oh, well, what if you thought about it this way? And, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay, well, if you don't want, because I didn't want to take any medicine to deal with anxiety. So
Yeah.
she was like, okay, well, let's give you a different tool then. Since you're so adamant that you don't want to take this medicine, let's do it this way. And if you can promise me that you're going to do it this way to stay healthy, then okay. And so I said, okay, well, let's do that then. I would rather become organized. I would rather switch up these different things in my life instead of take medicine. And I'm not saying everybody should do that, but that was it for me. And so, yeah, the first time I was scared, but I kept going. And I just think I've always been that kind of way, super determined to be healthy and just live a better life.
Yeah. And I think that that's so powerful because people will try something, right? Already skeptical and said,
Yeah.
that ain't for me. She was asking me
Right.
the side of her face, asking me these questions, and how she was asking. Therapy is like this, not like this is the wrong therapist. People would have assumed that therapy is like this. So if I go to 5 more, they're going to come with the same kind of questioning, the insensitivity or what have you. But you said, you know what? I matter. I'm important. Self-care is important. My mental health is important. Let me try another one. Okay, let me try one who is Christian. Let me try one who believes in God. Let me try one who has a softer tone or a different approach. And this works for me. Let me try someone who challenges me, who's honest. And that's what people have to do. Find that right fit. Taraji P. Henson has a show on Facebook Watch called Peace of Mind, PEACE. And it's one of the most brilliant shows out there. Between that and Red Table Talk, like that's the kind of work that I want to do. And they always talk on Taraji, it's about mental health. And they always stress the importance of choosing the right therapist, the one that looks like you, that I can identify. Because what happens is if you don't go to a therapist that looks like you, then you're spending half of it explaining why you do this, how you do this, in our community this, Black people this. That's taking up your time. But when you go to someone who can understand your plight, even if you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, or you've experienced this and I experienced that, there are certain common things that Black folks have, you know what I mean, in common, that you don't have to explain. You don't have to explain the trauma of watching, you know, a police shoot down someone and then now you can't go to sleep. You don't have to explain certain things. Did you find, so this therapist now looks like us?
Does not. And so that's why I'm shaking my head like, that, you know, that information has to be expressed. It does. And so, yeah.
And of course, if you're going to a therapist who doesn't look like you, if you're whatever you are and they don't look like you, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be a great therapist and they're not educated and they're not going to empathize with what you're going through. But studies have shown certain things. And definitely, I always promote people to advocate for yourself. So research your therapist, whatever color or nationality they are, research the therapist and make sure they're right for you. So you just having a Christian one might be that what you needed to fill in that gap. You know what I'm saying? So it could be something like that. Even if they don't look like you, have something that connects you to them, that you're passionate about or that's important to you. That's very, very important. What would you, as we wind down, what would you tell people who like, I don't need to go to therapy. Therapy is not for me. You know, I can deal with this on my own, whether it's smoking or drinking or doing things to pacify what's really going on internally, mentally. What would you tell that person who says, I don't need therapy, I'll deal with it on my own? Or I'll pray. Because you can pray and go to therapy.
I would say, sis, bro, get your toe into therapy. What is wrong? No. I will personally, if you are in California, I will personally take you. Stop it. I would just say, you know, let's look at it from a different perspective. You know what I mean? Let's write some things down. Let's write your life down, how things have been going. And I would start with the same question, you know, that my therapist asked me. So what would your ideal life be? Right? The answer could be, I'm living my ideal life. Okay, why didn't you say that? Why did you say, oh, my ideal life would be, I would have a different job. My man would do XYZ. And then they make you look at it like, hey, you could totally be, there's options, right?
Yeah.
That was the breakthrough for me. Like, there's options. You don't have to do what you're doing. You absolutely can do something else. So I would just help that person understand, hey, you don't have to do what you're doing. Like, you don't have to hate going to therapy. There's options. Matter of fact, there's thousands of therapists in the world, and with technology, you can meet them online. You know, if you don't have the means and the transportation to get to where you want to go, there's other options. And just helping that person understand, hey, that's cool, but let me tell you about this other option over here that you actually might like.
Absolutely. I think that was well said. And also, even if it's not therapy, you have to do something for your mental space. I'm a transformational life coach and a meditation practitioner. And I say that to say, even if it's life coaching, talking to someone to get it out, strategizing a plan for your life, that can take and eliminate some of the anxiety and stress and even depression that you have. So everything is not just about medication or just therapy. It's not just one thing. You can do all of it. You can have a therapist, you can have a life coach, you can have a meditation practitioner, and just teaching. I teach ways to breathe. You know, something as simple as that. People don't know how to breathe and to be still. And people think that they can't meditate because they got too much here. And that's the problems. We're out so you can get back to who you are or who you want to be. And it's never too late to be who you always wanted to be. So, and
one of my aunts told me, oh, go ahead. Oh, I was just saying, one of my aunts told me, you know, I was telling her, I said, yeah, you know, I want to be that type of outdoorsy person that goes on RVs and takes them through the mud and like gets dirty, but is like excited about it. And she's like, that's who you are. She goes, maybe you can't do that just yet, but that's who you are. You're already who you want to be, even if you're not there yet. Just keep going, you know, keep growing. That's already who you are. It's in you. It's just waiting to come out. And so I thought, right on. It's so powerful to think about it that way. That's already who you are.
Yeah, I always say you have always who you have been, and you just need yourself to get you up out of it, meaning that you have to recognize who you are. And when you recognize who you are, you walk differently. You walk with purpose. So like your aunt said, and that's what people are. A little kid version of Arilia is the same one now. You just have to find that space to be that and live in your full truth and live your best life. And the best way to do that is make sure everything is cleansed and out of you so you can think differently. And if you're suffering from mental health challenges or surviving or living through, however you want to say it, you have to know that you're important and it's okay to do something about it. Les Brown says we ask for help not because we're weak, but because we want to remain strong. Arilia, I thank you so much. I thank you so much for being on Tea and Conversation. Tell people how they can get in contact with you and if they have a book that they would like you to publish.
Yes, definitely. Contact me. Okay. At Miss Winn, MISSWINN_. Send me a DM and just we can get started there. Check me out at Winn Publications, WINN Publications with an S.com. And check out some of my works. You could also get this book on there. It's on Amazon. I believe it's on Barnes and Nobles. We're spreading it. We're getting it out there, distributing it. It's also in my bookstore. I also own a bookstore, webookstoreonline.com. You can get it there. Hit me up. Let me know. I'm ready to go. Yes.
Can I tell you real quick? How cool was it that they mentioned the book on Fox Soul when I was on there? Did you see that?
I didn't see that. Oh my God.
Let me tell you, I had no idea, Arilia, they were doing that. They were like, buy her latest book, My Personal Journey of Peace. They flashed it up on national TV twice.
Yes. See?
I have to send you that. I was like,
wow. That's amazing. See, these are the kind of people I like to work with. Yes.
Because
keep it up.
Tell you, they did their research. I didn't tell them. My husband and I went on Fox Soul just to talk about marriage and relationships. They researched me and they had my book up there. As I watched it back, I was like, they put my book up there. I have to send you the clip.
Send it to me. Wow. Okay.
I will.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yes. So if we start selling a little bit extra,
I'm gonna have to check the numbers now. What the heck? Yeah. Okay. That's amazing.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to work with you again. And I admire you as a younger person doing your thing. And I think it's up to us, the older generation, to give the younger people their flowers and the millennials. I think it's so important to reach down and say, you know what, I'm proud of you. You go, girl. And we can learn a lot from you. I can learn a lot from you. So I just thank you for being who you are and who you continue to be. And baby girl, just keep shining. Keep shining.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Hold up your tea. All right, now this is Tea and Conversation with Kendell Lenice. That's Arilia Winn. Please follow her. And if you have a book that you would like to publish, this is your girl. I'm right here on camera saying I vouch for her.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
I
appreciate you. And look at that. Look at God. I have to tell you real quick, I got a minute. My car broke down and overheated. I called Arilia. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on time. But I did. Look at God.
Yeah. Making a way, working it out.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yes, for sure.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you're watching it live or the playback, I appreciate you just the same. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kendell Lenice. This will be housed there as well as the rest, excuse me, if I can fix this tongue, as well as the rest of the shows. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.